Hey everyone, Inky here. This is a video I had planned for a while, and I would have completely forgotten about this video if my friend Ond on Roblox, whose OC is back here, didn't keep reminding me. And you know what? I kind of lost motivation to do this video, so it's not as great as how I initially would hope it to be. But you know what? I'm doing this for you, Ond. I hope you enjoy it. These are the backstories of Inky the Brakevan and Ond the Jinty. If I get any details wrong about Ond, I'm truly sorry. This is just how bestly I translated it down onto Scripts Basic, on my thing I do for scripts and stuff. So without further ado, let's begin with Inky's backstory. Inky was built in 1940, along with his sister Pinky and 5 brothers in Swindon. He worked as a brakevan and helping along with small trains along the Great Western Railway. He worked there from 1940 to 1947, where he was used in west of England, the Midlands and Wales, and occasionally ended up on Sodor. In 1947, he was sent to a scrapyard, and after he was deemed too useless. He stayed there for about 20 years, and then 20 years later, in 1967, a purple tank engine called Zack from Yorkshire saved him from the scrapyard and smuggled him to Sodor. In the following year, after having him in hiding on the mainland in an abandoned yard, he would then take him to Sodor where he would be saved. There is actually a video on that part of the backstory. It's on my friend Percy Studios' channel. It's the first channel on the friends list of channels. So, yeah. Then, in 1968, when he was brought to Sodor, he worked as a brakevan for some random engines, like Hank, Molly, Neville, Duck, etc. And he reunited with his brother Toad. He found himself working as Ryan's brakevan, and that is where he is to this day. That is his backstory. Now to Ond's backstory. I really hope I get this all right. So, and there's not as much to say because obviously I didn't create Ond, but if Ond ever gets a YouTube channel, I'm sure he could somewhat explain it better. Ond was built the same year as the other Jinty classes and was part of the LMS and was number 7,414. Some years later, he visited Keys Etcholoskia. Sorry, I can't really read that. To do some work there. He then came back to Brighton and gotten the features that Jinty's had been painted black. A man called Mr. Black buyed him and took him to work on his railway, the RCC. I'm sorry, I forgot what that stands for. He was painted crimson red with the number 150. He later got some yellow lining. He got his own coaches and went to help at Sodor with some engines. He helped with multiple trains, including the express once when Gordon was being lazy. He also once saved his brother Nicholas from the steelworks on the mainland, where he was being held captive by Frankie and Hurricane. And that is the backstory of Ond the Crimson Red Tank Engine and Inky 7. And to tie it all up, this is the story of how they met and how we ended up with this image. What happened was, during one of the journeys, Ryan had an accident and had to be taken to the works for several weeks. Obviously, Sir Topham Hatt didn't have a spare engine to do his work. Therefore, he borrowed Ond. And when Ond came to do the work, this is where he met Inky, and they've been friends since. And that is their backstories and how they met. I'm sorry it's not as great as I initially hoped, and I actually had to cut out some other OCs, but I'm sure those people could do it on their channel. Either way, that's Inky and Ond's backstory. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.